Hello everyone. Today let's talk how to put your director on board, or in other words, how to nominate a candidate to vote for the position of a director and how to put forward the entire procedures so as to let each and every member to vote in a system of ComBoox for nomination a director, and how to calculate the vote result of the proceeding, and also how does a candidate for the position can put himself or herself on the position so as to start their tenure to exercise their authority in the system of ComBoox. And first, we need to search out the target company that we are operation. We input the registration number of our target company as number 7. And let's click search, and then you can click this link button to the main page. Okay, this is the home page of our target company. The company's name is ComBoox DAO Limited. And we can see that first of all, we need to check the currently available shareholders agreement and to see the allocation, the positions allocation rule that defined by this shareholders agreement. And we can see that there is only one edition of the shareholders agreement, which has been inputted by us in the previous video. And let's see the contents of this shareholders agreement. And we can see that this is the body term. And currently, this edition of shareholders agreement is in force, and all these contents cannot be changed or removed by any person, because you can see that there is no access control panel, which means that no account has the authority to revise the terms. So let's check the position rules. In these position rules, as we have introduced in the previous video, the company can define each and every position for high-rank officials. And we can see that the first one defines the position number 1, and the title of this position is chairman of the board. And the nomination right was assigned to user number 1, who is the actual controller of this company. And the title of the nominator is shareholder. And such move shall be applied of the voting rules numbered as number 9, which is a simple majority voting rules for the general meeting of shareholders. And the end date of this position is 2026, December 31, the last day of that year. Okay. Suppose that we would like to nominate our candidate to vote for the chairman of the board. You know that this position is very important. Usually, a chairman of a board also the legal representative of this company. And we can use the user number of 0001 and to act as user number 1. And then as a actual controller of this company, and we would like to create a motion first. That motion needs to be created in the general meetings of members. As we can see that position number 1 as chairman, this motion needs to be is subject to the voting rule number 9, and the number 9 voting rule actually is a majority is a simple majority voting sub-matters for general meeting of shareholders. And we can see that this is a voting rule number 9 is an ordinary resolution of a shareholders meeting, and authority subject to this which will apply this voting rule is shareholders meeting. Okay. Therefore, as user number 1, we need to create a motion first in the general meeting of members. So we click this item of the menu bar, and now the system has bring us to the page for general meeting minutes. General meeting minutes is a special page to create and to vote, calculation the voting result for the general meeting of members. And we can see that there are actually two parts in this page. The upper parts define how to create a motion for the general meeting of members. And there are actually four types of motion can be created and reviewed by the general meeting of members. First one is to nominate or to remove a director from the position of on the board. Okay. The next one is to approve certain contract that will be signed and exercised on chain. So we call that is to approve a document. Usually in ComBoox system, there are two types of document that need to be approved by the general meeting. The first kinds are the share transaction agreements, or we can call those agreements as investment agreements to be approved by the general meeting of members. Because as a limited liability company, every member shall have the authority to select whether to approve a newcomer to become the share member. And the next type of motion refers to transfer fund, which means in case the company would like to dispose of its assets, or in specific detail that in case the company wants to pay in certain crypto from chain to any third party, and then this company needs to obtain approval from the general meeting of members, because that action refers to dispose the wealth of the members who has already invested into this company. And the next type of motion refers to approved action. Approved action is very dynamic and flexible motion, which means that in case the company would like to sign any smart contract or exercise any smart contracts, and then the company can create a specific motion here. And then after getting the approval from the general meeting, the exerciser or executor defined by the motion, usually that will be a director, may trigger the certain smart contracts as per the definition of the motion. So it's very complicated, while also very dynamic, which means that a company can, as a legal person, directly enter into the smart contract with any third party and exercise the smart contract accordingly. Today, we will discuss mainly on this nomination motion, or nominate a candidate to vote for a director's position. As we have discussed, number one position refers to the chairman of the board, which is very important for a company. So as the controlling member, or as the actual controller of this company, I, as user member, would like to nominate myself as the candidate for the position of chairman. So we input the sequence of the position. Sequence number one means that refers to the chairman of the board. And the candidate refers to the user number that the nominator would like to define in this motion. We have discussed myself as user number one as the candidate for the position of chairman of the board. And then we click this button with the signal of add, which means that we create a new motion in this general meetings minutes panel. And we confirm. So we can see that in the down part of this page, there is a motions list which listed all the draft or existing motions for the organization of general meeting. And there is one new line appeared which is created by us right now, and we can click this line and there will be a panel pop up. The panel's name is form of motion. Actually, this panel described the detailed contents of a motion. We can see that the type of this motion is elect officer. Okay, means that this motion is to discuss whether can approve a candidate for a specific position. And the creator is user number one. Right now we acting as user number one that create this motion. Create date is the date of the blockchain that we have write the transaction into the block, and that refers today. Today is 2023 December 13th, and the proposer due to this motion is still pending, and we have not proposed this motion to the general meeting of members. Therefore, the proposal currently is still left blank. Also for proposal date, because we have not proposed this specific motion to the meeting, to the general meeting, so the proposed date is blank now. And candidate, we have already nominated myself, user number one, as the candidate to vote for the position of chairman. And voting rule. Voting rule refers to that the voting rule that will be applied for this specific motion in the general meeting. And we can see that we have already selected number 9 voting rule as the governing rule in the entire process of voting. And the authority who will adopt this voting rule is shareholders meeting, or we can call it a general meeting. And the subject matter need to obtain at least 50% of the voting rights that support itself, and then that subject matter can get approval. And the voting result will calculated only based on the voters' attitudes who attended the voting process. And since it's not a contract to approval, so it does not need any party to apply whether it is a related party. So this attribute of the voting rule does not apply in the current scenario. And for the timeline, we have already simplified the entire timeline. And we can see that next one is the description of the position number 1. So let's click, and we can see that the position info is that the sequence number of this position is 0001, and the title of this position is chairman. And the user who has already taken the position still left blank because we are discussing and voting for this. And the nominator was assigned to user number 1, and title of the nominator is shareholder, and also shall apply rule number 9 as the voting rule to calculate the voting results. And the end date of the tenure for chairman shall be 2026 December 31. The last day of the year of 2026. Oh, okay. And we can see that there is a special button in red, which indicated as named as quit. This button refers to the scenario that in case the chairman himself would like to quit from the position, instead of being elected by the members to move himself from the position, he can click this button to select quit from the position of chairman. Okay. Okay, so in this section, the form of a motion refers to the actions of motion, which means that each and every right holders can trigger certain legal action for the subject matter or for this motion. There are several choices, but only one is available for the current stage of this for this motion. That is to propose this draft motion to the general meeting. Okay, so let's click propose, and we can see that there are two choices to propose this motion. One is to propose directly, and the other one is to entrust a delegate to propose certain draft motion to the general meeting. We have already introduced in the previous video that there are some specific ratio threshold to submit a proposal to the general meeting. In case to propose the motion in title of a member, and then you need to obtain at least 10% of the voting rights of the entire company. And in case you propose this motion as a director and you need to obtain at least 10% support from the board, etc. And of course, all those thresholds can be defined by members dynamically and frequently. But you need to write into the shareholders agreement and get the signature of all the members, all has been to obtain a approval from the general meeting of members. So you can select to entrust a delegate, and then this delegator may obtain the support from different right holders so as to satisfy the threshold requirement to submit that motion to the general meeting. Well, currently, we are acting as user number 1 who has obtained enough voting power or enough voting rights to make the proposal. So we can directly propose this draft motion to the general meeting, and then the system will write down the timestamp and commence the rest procedures for this motion. And we can see that the state of this motion has been changed from draft or pending to the current state of proposed. And we can see that here proposer has been indicated as user number 1, and the proposed date has been updated into the timestamp that we have clicked that button. And then certain timeline has calculated by the system automatically, and this timeline actually is calculated based on the voting rule number 9, because we have selected number 9 voting rule as the governing rule, and then the system will retrieve this rule from the shareholders agreements and then calculate each and every key point of time for this proceeding, for the proceeding of discussion and voting of this motion. So that's all. We have already finished or complete the proposal action for this motion. And let us have a rest, and we will introduce the rest steps to discuss, review, and vote for this specific motion to elect the chairman. And thank you for your time. See you. Bye-bye.